What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast, and this is the former Treasury Secretary, and I believe she's the former Treasury Secretary. She still might be, but she says a lot of interesting phrases in this clip that I want you to pay attention to. And there's a seismic shift that's occurring right now. It's surfacing, and I think this is where I've been talking and iterating the point of right now they're calling for the de-dollarization, right, to occur. And it is happening. It is occurring. Make no mistake about it. However, they're assuming that because, the world as it stands, um, utilizing the world reserve currency, that means that it's the end of the American empire, the U.S. What I think is happening is there's a consolidation of powers, right? That's coming together. And they want to get rid of this fiat system and move over to that digital system. And the only way to do that is to break the current um, monetary system that is currently controlled by the US dollar. And they want to get everyone into uh, CBDC, digital financial system. But however, before that happens, there's going to be a lot of pain on the way. And here you see Rosie Rios talk about the change and how consumer behavior doesn't change easily. It's only one of two ways it can change. Take a listen.
Supply and demand. And one of the data points that we used in this process was working very closely on consumer behavior. Now, if you heard me speak yesterday, you heard me say that consumer behavior is the hardest to change unless there's a shock to the system. So I'm going to share some findings, some recent findings that I think will help us really think about what the future of money looks like. And just a little bit of background. So yes, that is me up there with the chair of the Federal Reserve at the time, Ben Bernanke, and my boss, Secretary Tim Geithner. And this is when we were unveiling the new $100 bill in 2013. So if you look at your U.S. currency, you can look on the slide. That is my name on the lower left-hand side of U.S. currency. I am currently on about $1.8 trillion of U.S. currency in circulation worldwide out of the $2.2 trillion. So no one makes more money than I do. So that is true. That is absolutely true. I'm going to say that again.
So what you can see there is that inspiration or pain is what changes people's behavior, but it's hard to change consumer behavior unless there's a shock to the system. And I think we're experiencing little tremors, little shocks that are occurring. And we're in for something. If you watch Mike Maloney, so I've done some segments on him and his content here on this channel. You can see that he's anticipating, and he's been on this for decades now, and so has Robert Kiyosaki. But there's something coming, and you can see that it's going to be big, major. This is global, and the system that they're going into, it'll seem like the savior at the time, but it's gonna be, and people will demand it, but it's gonna be the enslavement of folks. Now here is Germany's food inflation above 20%, and you know that people over there are sensitive to inflationary um, pressures because of what happened in Weimar, and so in their history, they um, they're sensitive to this kind of stuff. Now, yesterday I'm going to show a small portion of this, so you guys can see that Christine Lagarde from the ECB, European Central Bank, talking about a Euro CBDC and how it's coming in October.
Well, I have a question about. I'm also a good user of electronic money. So my question, you're introducing the electronic euro, as I know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how can switching to an electronic currency help?
Well, two things. Number one, it will be decided in October. So we are preparing the ground. We want to be ready. We want to be trained, but it will not be decided until October 23. The reason I'm personally convinced that we have to move ahead is a situation like the one we are in now. We are dependent on the supply of gas by a very unfriendly country. I don't want Europe to be dependent on an unfriendly country's currency. For instance, I don't know, the Chinese currency, the Russian currency, the whatever. Or dependent on a friendly currency, but which is activated by a private corporate entity like, Facebook or like Google.
Okay, so now you've heard a little snippet of that. I'll finish up the rest of it in a later segment. But things are moving quickly. And from here until 2025, expect major, major events and even the next round of a pandemic, maybe something global. Anyways, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. It's the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.